Wagwan again and Unstoppable family. So people, Dalton Harris is the topic today. And for those of you who don't remember or probably just don't know, Dalton Harris is a Jamaican who entered the UK's X Factor competition some time ago and won. Now, winning the competition was easy for Dalton as singing was on point, but it wasn't a drama-free period for Dalton as his name got tangled in some drama after a picture surfaced on the internet and Jamaicans started, well, not Jamaicans, some Jamaicans started to assume that Dalton Harris was living a gay lifestyle. Dalton then spoke out about it. He never gave no justification or nothing like that, but he spoke out and in some senses said, no, I am not gay, but I have no problem with gay people, is how that all went down. Now, after winning the competition, Dalton was focusing on his music, living in the UK and all of that, and leave Jamaica alone, right? And then him kind of just humble and focus on the music and put out him songs and stuff like that, and the media kind of cooled down with Dalton Harris' name for a while. Now, Dalton Harris has been speaking up here and there upon certain little topics because he's one that is very vocal upon certain things when it comes to how parents parent their kids, as him comment upon topics like how black people are treated and stuff like those. And today, that is the reason why Dalton Harris is in the spotlight again, because most recently Dalton Harris spoke about being faced with racism, right, in his life. Also feeling like sometimes him feel like, you know, people want him to just take him own life, is what Dalton even mentioned in this video right here. Dalton Harris also spoke about what happened to him, how his own people in Jamaica alienate him just because of the idea that he may be gay. So we're going to jump in right now and we're going to take a listen to Dalton Harris explaining the ordeal that he had to face being who he is.
I was never going to use my platform to alienate any group or sect of people, you know? And that's a problem for a lot of people. So the industry there kind of keeps me at bay, and there's lots of people that might support me, but they don't do it publicly because they don't want to answer to the people that hate me because of the perception that I'm gay, and also the fact that the child, and making sure and saying, hey, the way Jamaicans parent isn't always the best. And I've been a victim of that, and it's bullshit, and I'll stand by that 100%, you know? So me standing for the right thing kind of fucked my prospects of any career in Jamaica, you know? Because I'll never get booked for a show in Jamaica because I'm too gay or too this or too that, because I'm not the quintessential black Jamaican guy, which to me is kind of messed up. Because here we are in the midst of Black Lives Matter, you know, and I'm subject to a lot of things and a lot of issues because of the color of my skin as well, but I'm also subject to hate from people that look like me. So it makes me question so many things, you know, and it just makes no sense, and it never will. But I think that's what I need to use my platform for. You know, and then we're not even I haven't even gotten into my experience so far with industry, some industry people, you know, not everybody. So this is a disclaimer for people, because a lot of people are ignorant. So disclaimer, me saying there's an issue with something doesn't mean, so if I say somebody was racist, it doesn't mean all white people are racist. It doesn't mean all people in the industry are messed up and only money grabbing people. It doesn't mean that all Jamaicans are homophobic, ignorant people. But it means that people everywhere have issues that they need to educate themselves on not having, you know?
Yeah.
Because you could lead somebody to kill themselves, you know, and you might not care, but imagine if your family member ever happened to be any one of those things that you would judge somebody for. You know, imagine if your sister or a friend of yours or you were on the receipt, how would you feel? Apathy and empathy are very important. Religion and toxic masculinity and women having to act and be a certain way, like it's a bunch of shit. And what people don't understand, like a lot of people are tweeting and saying the Black Lives Matter things and talking about this, but do you really know the history of the very oppression that you dish out? Because bear in mind, you are taught to hate yourself, and you're hating somebody that looks just like you, thinking you're winning, and you're not. Because nobody wins when the family feuds. And what I mean is, if you treat me like I don't belong because of who you think I might be or who I am, you're not winning, brother or sister. You know what I'm saying? How I treat you, Autumn, reflects how I am. You know what I'm saying? And that's where I'd love to see or live. I'd love to experience and live to see the day where that would be. But at this rate, I know that's just a hope. You know, it's like a very slim hope.
We have so many hurdles to overcome, but honestly, like even just little talks like this do go really far.
Yeah,
they really do. Like even the one I did with Jocelyn, like it's, you know, it was shared among a lot of white women, and it taught them to like look at themselves and have conversations they weren't having.
Yeah,
and that's kind of where we need to do. And also in the Black community, Caribbean community, like we need to have these conversations. I was on Facebook the other day, and a guy was just, you know, going on about he didn't like some new cartoon because it had like two guys kissing, and he was like, oh, it's gonna turn my son gay. And I just ended up unfriending him because some people I will get into discussions with, but some people it's just not gonna go anywhere.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm just thinking like, okay, let's just say your son does become gay or doesn't become gay. Either way, it doesn't matter. But like, you're not even giving him the freedom to be himself.
Yeah. You know, I think I grew up where I'm guilty of like as a child, like being 10, 11, a young teenager, saying words that are offensive. But because I was in a culture that I thought that was normal, you know, like even to Bossa Blanc for a song that was highly offensive, whether it was to women or somebody what was gay, you know, like I grew up in a culture that you know, it procures this kind of behavior. And when I was maybe like 15, I was like, hold up, do I have an issue with this? No. And what if I'm 25, 26 December, and if at 45 I decided to change my lifestyle and be something else, or I had a child that was gay, or a daughter that liked girls, or my partner's white, have kids when we have kids that are mixed, how does it make sense? Like, I work with so many people from so many different backgrounds. Like, the world is built on people from all kinds of places and corners of the world. Why is it important for me to let you know how much I hate you because of who you are, when who you are doesn't affect the quality of life that somebody else lives? You know, there are people that speak about killing people in music. There are people that speak about women being nothing but slaves. There are people that speak about how much money they have and how they'll use it to do dumb stuff. Like, find something to quarrel and make a fuss about that makes sense for a greater good. You know, it's all bullshit to me. And working on cruise ships and traveling the world and leaving Jamaica and living in America for a while taught me a lot. You know, it taught me, especially cruise ships, because you meet every kind of person on there. And I was subject to racism the entire 3 years, but I always had a smile on my face because I was like, this is so cool. I get to meet people. There's this asshole that's racist to me, but he's dumb. But we'll get to that. But look at these cool people, you know? And I just thought he was defective because if I didn't have an issue with somebody that looked different from me or lived different from me, if you don't harm somebody, hurt somebody, deteriorate somebody's perception of themselves, I love you. You know, like, so when I feel insecure every day of my life because I'm Black, just period. And I don't just say that because Black Lives Matter now and it's a popular thing. This has been, you know, what I've been about because I've been subject to it. You know, I lived in America where my sister would be afraid for me because she knew that as an immigrant, if I was stopped by the cops, and I'm smart, so, and I know my rights and I stand up for what I believe in, whether I'm popular or somebody's looking or not. So if a cop were to stop me and try to intimidate me, I'm going to tell you, you know, you're stupid. Or,
can't do that here.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I always stand up for myself, and I always say, if I was born in the era of slavery, I'd be the first one they killed, you know, period, you know. And she was always afraid for me. And then I realized that I had to learn to be afraid for myself, because I was smiling thinking I'm just a human being, but I realized through other people's actions that I was black. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So when I'm going home and I'm driving my sister's car in Miami, the cops pull me over because I opened the gate with the fob. And they just thought, why not pull him over? And they pulled me over. I was like, hey, what's up? You know, they asked me for my papers. I always had my ID because I'm an immigrant. I don't want to, I don't want them to think I'm there illegally or anything. And then the guy asked me, how do I live here and who do I know? And I said, my sister lives here. Asked me my sister's name and door number. I give it to him. And, still they're saying, step out the car. Do you have weapons? I'm like, search, whatever it is. And if I didn't have a key that opened my sister's front door that night, I would have had a different story to tell, because they were ready to draw their weapons because they didn't believe that I actually knew somebody there. But in my head, I'm thinking, who the hell drives up to somebody's place, enters the entrance, and drives in to a place that they're not from? So if that key, and I'm trembling, but I have to keep my composure, if that key didn't work that night, I don't know what would have happened to me. And the fact that I don't know what would have happened to me is a problem. And so when I speak about these things and I see people comment, all lives matter, we fucking know. All lives matter. The fact that I have to say Black Lives Matter proves to me how much you don't know that all lives matter. Because when I see high-speed chases of, white people being able to even drive off and be on the highway running away from cops, I don't get that privilege. The minute I resist, I'm shot, whether I'm armed or not. So I don't get to be like, guess what, Mom? Whether I was innocent or not, I was running from the cops. No, I don't get to do that. I don't get to do that. I don't get to speak a certain way. I don't get to complain. Even in this industry, I've been treated like shit by people that I had around me that were supposed to take care of me and make me feel empowered. I was told to quit. I was told that I would never make it in the industry. I was told that I should just go be a songwriter. I was told I was unhelpable. I had crippling depression and anxiety just because of how my year was going. Not my record label, by the way. I just want to say that because a lot of people will run with stuff and I don't want to be defaming anyone. But I had people around me, a specific person, that made me feel like shit. And that was crippling for me because I went in every session and I sung my ass off. And I was working harder than anyone. I was turning in demos that were so good. And I made sure that vocally nobody could say I'm less than anyone out there now that's more popular or white or whatever it is. I made sure that I was always the one that's going in and giving 110%. There was never anything that anyone could ever say that I did that was less than. I was giving 110 plus 200% every time. But yet still, I was subject to this. So I wanted to quit.
Wow, man.
In December, I released my first single and I worked so hard for it. And by the time I released my single, I have probably 60 demos on my computer. And I was asking questions because I'm a go-getter. You know what I'm saying? I'm Jamaican. I grew up in the country and I managed to get myself out of there by myself. Nobody gave me a sponsor to any place. I researched and got my visas and worked hard, saved, and came here and won X Factor. I am a hard worker. So if you're going to come around me, I'm going to ask you, what are you going to do for me? It's not just about people coming and taking percentages of whatever it is or blah, blah, blah. I need to know what it is that you're doing for me that I care of. And when I started asking questions, it became a problem. So the mental health that was inflicted on me because of my experience became the very weapon that was used against me. And here I am feeling so fucked up, like so horrible. Like I'd see people comment, what's happening to your music? And I'd blame myself because I thought it was me. People would, I felt so guilty. And when I was asking questions, the minute there was nothing there to get, I was left alone, and feeling like I should quit. And it begs me to wonder, if I worked harder than everybody in the room, if you have no possible thing to say why I didn't do something, all my demos They are really good. All the songs that I wrote, co-wrote, demoed, whatever it is, amazing. You know, vocally, quality-wise, whatever it is. So I couldn't beg but wonder what's the nature because of everybody around. I was the only black one. I was the only one that you knew that my history and my past is from poverty and that I came from this place. And it ended up being something I felt was used against me. And to make me feel afraid, I was giving this idea that, you know, if it wasn't without a specific person or people, that I could never make it.
Wow.
And since then, every single day that I get up, sometimes I'll text Tyler from the label just to say, hey, what's up, you know, or have a conversation and stuff, because I am dying because of what somebody made me go through. And this is somebody that's never sung a fucking note in their lives, don't even make music, but you think you can make somebody that makes music and put one of the people that puts food and money in your pocket feel like shit.
Wow.
How dare you? So it makes me wonder, what is it about me? Because I sing circles around most of people's favorites, and I'm sorry if you're coming across arrogant, but I have to value myself because I realize that's not going to be gifted to me. And talent probably doesn't matter. It probably don't matter. But at the end of the day, I did everything and then some that I was supposed to do. And I know it. If I'd be dropped by my label if I was doing some crazy stuff, I'm sure. You know, so what did I do? What did I do? What didn't I do? And there was no answer. I remember one time I was asking, I was like, hey, you know, I want to go into such and sessions like that. And I had somebody that was at the time working on my team that had no idea of how my sessions even were set up. You know this. And then they gaslighted me for 3 hours on the phone. I hung up thinking, die. Because this person made me feel like I was crazy. You know? And because people have such control of you when you have a record deal, everybody comes in and you know you're told what to do and what not to do, what gigs to take, what not to take, and all these things, and you end up losing time and money that nobody will give you back. They'll only fuck you off and go on to the next person. So I couldn't help but ask myself, what did I do? What didn't I do? When it comes to, I have nothing, I could never say anything that when it comes to my label, I'm grateful for what I have right now. To be honest, like everything is a working progress. Like if you ask me, do I think certain things could be better? I'm always going to say yes, even if they're better. You know, I'm always going to expect better for myself. But I'm grateful for being able to have a conversation now with my label, because that's something I never thought I was allowed to do, because everybody does something for you, you know? But it's hard, you know. When I did the X Factor, it was an amazing experience. The X Factor, like, you know, the producers were really good to me. But I went on tour, and then there was assholes on tour, and I had a makeup artist at the time that could have lost her job because she decided to stand up to some sexist, racist security guards. And I remember telling management at the time, I don't want to come back. You know, I'd rather stay in the tour bus outside the whole day until I have to perform, and I'll go perform and I'll leave. I don't want to go because they'd close the door when I was coming. You know, they'd standing my way. They'd close the bus door, standing the bus door when I was coming. You know, stuff like that, passive aggressive things. And it was bad because I thought I wanted to show like I should feel happy about it, but I didn't. And I didn't know why. So every time when I went on stage, I was so insecure because I thought the people in the audience were going to judge me, just like this person who's making money because of artists that went and entered a talent show to have people come to want to see them and buy tickets, you know? And I just couldn't get it. And that really messed with me. And like, I wasn't the most confident person either at the time. So it kind of sinks you. And then I went into, and I was doing the tour and recording. So I'd go tour, and on the weekends I'd have to come back to London, fly back to London to record. And it was hard, you know, because I was like, I hate myself, you know, like what's wrong with me? Like, I probably just shouldn't be here. And I kept thinking, so when people would be like, oh, you know, he won and this is all cool and whatever, I just kept thinking, that's bullshit. Because these people are making me feel like this.
Wow.
You know?
So you have, like, what? at that point, it's like, so what are you doing it for? What's enjoyable about it?
Yeah. It's,
When it gets that hard.
you know, yeah, it got to a point where I just was like, yo, it's been 7 years. I worked my ass off. You know, I'm here. So I'm going to enjoy this because I deserve it. I kept telling myself that, you know, and when I went into recording an after tour, it was like a hard year for me. You know, I enjoyed my sessions and I was excited, but, you know, it was hard because whether it was my single being pushed back or a date being changed or, you know, just somebody told me one time, hey, take $5,000 and go on vacation somewhere and whatever, it'd be fine. We can always get more money. And I said to this person, money doesn't come out of thin air. And when that realization was made a few months later, this person turned around and was like, well, you know, there's no money and where'd the money and da-da-da-da. This person acted dumbfounded as though they didn't understand how toxic they were, you know, and tried to get me to, I think that night on the phone when I had that conversation with this person, that's not from the label, they were trying to get me to end it. Because that's the only way to explain the level of gaslighting that I was subject to.
To end what?
My life.
Wow.
You know, and I think the label saw and knew how bad I was and how horrible I was doing, that they made the decision to send me to retreat, to rehab, so I could deal with my depression and be okay for 2 weeks in Phoenix, you know? And it was hard. It was really hard because here was somebody that was telling me I'm unhelpable and I won't make it and I shouldn't be in the industry, you know?
Now people, you hear that? It is that serious. The man was actually suffering from clinical depression and his label had to send him for therapy for 2 weeks. Yo, suicidal thoughts are not simple things, you know, people. You understand? And the man don't have the pressure of having to do rehearsals, having to meet deadlines, having to focus on, yo, him have the one you have to please, that's somebody you have to please, that's somebody you have to please. It's not easy what man do. And then also you have racism attached to it, you have to face that in your life. Then your own people in Jamaica a backlash, you turn them back on you. There is even a part in this clip which wasn't played though, but the man said when him got Jamaica, him did have to hide and go through back door at Jamaica because him couldn't even walk, me nobody see him. Eh? Him have to go through back door because him own people no greet him with welcome arms. That is what Dalton said. What in the people? Done with this? Gone. What thought me in the comment section? Let me know what is your thoughts, your views, your opinions on this one. Alright? Until the next video, no matter what, don't let nobody stop you. I'm unstoppable and I'm out.
Right now you know we unstoppable. Unstoppable.